Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am Muhammad Abu Bakr, and in this video we are going to discuss the Cambridge International Education Chemistry 5070/11 October November 2019 Series 1 Paper 1 multiple choice questions only. So let's start our video. The concentration of aqueous sodium carbonate can be found by reaction with HCl of known concentration. The indicator methyl orange is used. Which items of equipment are needed? Which apparatus is needed? So first thing is that both the solutions are in aqueous medium, means there is not a need of gas syringe, so we can eliminate A. Also there is not a need of thermometer, so we can also eliminate B. Burette is required, a pipette is also required, and the conical flask is required to carry out the experiment, so C makes sense. Burette, pipette, and stopwatch. No, stopwatch is not required, so only C contains all the three equipments which we need, and C is the right answer. Which process is involved in all of the following? So obtaining copper sulfate crystals from aqueous copper sulfate. So does this entail crystallization? No, it does not. So we can rule out crystallization here. Yes, it does need evaporation. So evaporation is true for this. Obtaining ethanol from the fermentation of glucose. Yes, this also requires evaporation. Obtaining nitrogen from liquid air. Yes, this does also involve the evaporation because it is based on fractional distillation. Filtration is involved in, I'm not sure about filtration, but fractional distillation is all involved in the nitrogen liquefaction here only. So B, evaporation, is true for all of these. So B is the right answer. In which reaction is a white precipitate present when the reaction is complete? So excess aqueous barium nitrate is added to NaCl. So it will give us NaNO3 along with BaCl2, and BaCl2 is white in color. So first thing is this, but BaCl2 is very soluble in water. It would not give us a white precipitate. Remember this. So A is incorrect. Excess aqueous sodium hydroxide NaOH is added to aluminium chloride. This will give us NaCl along with aluminium hydroxide. So still a white precipitate would not be formed. Adding excess aqueous sodium hydroxide NaOH into FeSO4 into iron sulfate. This will give us Na2SO4, which is again soluble in water, and ferric hydroxide, which is again a base, which is again a heavy metal salt. I'm not sure about ferrous sulfate, but ferrous sulfate does not form a precipitate. So A, B, and C are incorrect. Adding excess HCl to silver nitrate. So the reaction proceeds to give us HNO3 along with AgCl, which is a white precipitate which solidifies at the bottom. So that's what we need. D is the right answer. Which three elements exist as diatomic molecules at room temperature? So diatomic molecules. So first thing is that the noble gases do not exist as diatomic molecules. So eliminating A, B, and D. So only C, nitrogen 2 times, oxygen 2 times, and fluorine 2 times. So C is the right answer. Sulfur dioxide is a gas prepared by heating sodium sulfite with HCl. It is an acidic gas. Sulfur dioxide is more dense than air. Which set of apparatus is suitable for preparing and collecting a dry sample of sulfur dioxide? So if we check here, this is sodium sulfite with HCl. Heat is put by the heat is inputted here. So this is calcium oxide, which is a drying agent. This is sulfuric oxide, sulfuric acid. This is sulfuric acid again. This is sulfuric acid again. So first thing is this, that calcium oxide is used as a drying agent, but for basic gases and neutral gases only, for basic and neutral particles of neutral gases only, whereas sulfuric acid is used for acidic gases and the neutral gases. So we can also definitely eliminate A because calcium oxide is never used. The second thing is that the sulfur dioxide is more dense than air, means that sulfur dioxide would stay at the bottom. Sulfur dioxide would stay at bottom, whereas the air would move upwards. So if we check here, D is incorrect because sulfur dioxide would start to escape here. So D is again incorrect. Among C and D, we have to find the right option because C and B uh, have the right apparatus at the end in the correct manner. So what is the difference between C and D? That in C, the gas does not escape from here. In C, we have the option to let the gas option of gas escape. In C, we have the option of either to escape the gas or not, whereas in B, the gas automatically escapes from here. So when the sulfur dioxide is formed, so we need an apparatus in which we can collect sulfur dioxide as a dry sample in the end. So obviously C contains all the required apparatus for this. So C is the right answer. Which diagram best represents the structure of a solid metal? So A is incorrect because does not contain negative ions. Among B, C, and C is incorrect again. C has shown negative ions and then positive like a layer on another one. So among B and D, B is true because the positive ions appear to be submerged in the sea of electrons. So B makes sense and B is the right answer. D is incorrect because the negative ions are only surrounding the positive ions. So D is incorrect. B is the right answer. Hydrogen sulfide burns in an excess of oxygen according to the equation shown. 48 decimeter cube of hydrogen sulfide is burned, means that 2 moles of H2S is burned. Which volume of sulfur dioxide will be formed at room temperature and pressure? So RTP, one thing is for sure. So when 2 moles is burned, it reacts with 3 oxygens to give 2 water molecules and 2 sulfur dioxide molecules. And we know that 1 mole of gas 1 mole of gas at RTP occupies a volume of 24 decimeter cube. But in here 24 decimeter cube. But in here 2 moles are formed. So obviously 24 times 2, that is 48. So 48 decimeter cube would be formed. So C is the right answer. Which row correctly identifies the different formula of ethene and its homologous series? So CnH2n is the general formula for the ethene. C2H4 is the molecular formula of ethene. Yes, it is. And CH2 is the empirical formula, just a ratio. So A is the right answer. Ammonia is manufactured from nitrogen and hydrogen by the Haber process. So what is the percentage yield when 60 kg of ammonia is produced from 60 kg of hydrogen? First, I think we should convert the masses we should count the masses on the left hand side and on the right hand side. So for a general reaction, 2 molecules of nitrogen means 28 plus 3 2 into 3 is equal to 6 is equal to 2 into 17, that is 34. So if 28 kg of nitrogen reacts with 6 kg of hydrogen, it should yield 60 kg. It should yield 34 kg of ammonia. But when 60 kg of hydrogen it is reacted, so 6 times 6 multiplied 10 is equal to 60. So when 60 kg is reacted with to 80 kg, multiplying this equation by 10, multiplying this by 10. So we get this one, 280 kg plus 60 kg, that is 340 kg. So ideally 340 kg ammonia should be produced here, but he has said that 60 kg of ammonia is produced only. So applying the actual values and the theoretical values in the formula, so yield is equal to actual yield over theoretical yield times 100. So actual yield is 60 over 340 multiply 100, so 0.176 multiply 100, so 17.6 B is the right answer. What is the ratio of the number of molecules in 71 gram of gaseous chlorine to the number of molecules in 2 gram of gaseous hydrogen? So 71 gram of gaseous chlorine means 2 Cl2 molecules, and 2 grams of gaseous hydrogen means 2 hydrogen molecules. So ratio is 1 to 1. So A is the right answer. The diagram shows an electrolysis experiment by using inert electrodes. So this is aqueous copper sulfate solution, and this is dilute H2SO4 solution. Which row shows that what happens to the concentration of electrolyte in L and in M as the electrolysis proceeds. So as the electrolysis proceeds, the copper sulfate would disintegrate into copper ions and sulfate ions. So I mean the concentration of the electrolyte in L, I mean the concentration of copper sulfate would not remain constant, because copper would escape, and then it would deposit at cathode. So for L, the concentration does not remain constant. So A and B are incorrect. For the case of M, dilute H2SO4 is here, so it would produce hydrogen gas along with sulfate in the ions. So hydrogen gas will be produced by sulfuric acid. So its concentration would not also remain constant at the end of experiment, at the end of electrolysis. So concentration does not remain constant. D is the right answer. Molten sodium chloride is electrolyzed. Which equation correctly shows the reaction that occurs at the cathode? So by down cell, we know that always reduction takes place at cathode. So reduction takes place at cathode. But this is for the molten sodium chloride. So the metal ion should deposit at the cathode. So A and B are incorrect. So sodium ion gains an electron, it gets itself reduced to form the sodium metal. So C is the right answer. An energy profile diagram is shown here. What does the arrow R on the diagram represent? So does it represent the endothermic energy change? No, it does not. The activation energy, no. This is the activation energy. So the energy taken in by the reactants, no. The enthalpy change of the reaction, yes. The arrow R shows the enthalpy change of reaction. Obvious is that. So D is the right answer. Which statement about exothermic and endothermic reactions is correct? In an endothermic reaction, endothermic that absorbs heat, energy is used to break bonds. Yes, it is, but no energy is released when the bonds form. So no energy is released. Somehow a minimal amount of energy should be released in a reaction. How is this possible? So A is incorrect. In an endothermic reaction, I mean that energy would somehow still be produced. It is undoubtedly wrong to say that no energy is released. In an endothermic reaction, energy is released when bonds form. In an endothermic reaction, energy is released. Yes, that's what I had said earlier. Energy is released when bonds form, but more energy is used to break bonds. Yes, that's why it is an endothermic reaction. So B is the right answer. In an exothermic reaction, energy is released both by breaking and by forming bonds. No, In an exothermic reaction, energy is released when bonds form. Energy is released when bonds form, but no energy is needed to break bond. No energy is needed to break bond. So C and D are also incorrect. B is the right answer. Gas P decomposes to form gas Q. Two experiments are carried out to investigate the rate of reaction. The conditions are the same except the two temperatures. The results are plotted on the graph drawn to the same scale. Which row is correct? Mm, So first of all, we would find a reaction which is more speedy. So simply, if we took this value from the T1 and this from T2, we get to know that when 1 second is formed, suppose this one box represents 1 second. 1 second is formed 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the rate of reaction is 4. While when this reaction is carried out, so after 2 seconds the rate of reaction is 1, 2, 3. So that is 3 by 2. So now if we check the rate of reaction, so 3 by 2 is smaller than 4 over 1. 3 by 2 is smaller than 4 over 1. Simply you can check by uh, taking a certain value. You can check this as well, you can check this as well, and then you divide it by time, and then you compare both. So 4 by 1 is greater than 3 by 2, so T1 is higher than T2. That's why this reaction is more speedy. So B and D are incorrect. Now we have to find the values of X and the values of Y. Now, if we check the values of X and Y, you can see that the values of the volume of Q is greater than the volume of P in both the cases. If the values of X and Y would have been equal, then it should have been a graph like this. Like this, the volume should have attained the same rate. So, volume of Q is greater than the volume of P, means Y is greater than X. So Y is bigger and the X is lower. So A is the right answer. In which reaction is the underlying substance being reduced? So uh, carbon plus CO2, carbon plus CO2, so it forms 2CO. So this carbon here, is getting oxidized. So A is incorrect. This chlorine molecule is reacting with two iodide ions to form iodide gas, and it has now gained two electrons. So what is gain of electrons? It is reduction. So chlorine is being reduced here, magnesium is being oxidized, so C is incorrect. Zinc is losing electrons, so D is incorrect. So B is the right answer. The equation for an industrial process is shown. Which row is correct? So this carbon gains oxygen, so it has oxidized, so it is itself a reducing agent. So C and D could be correct. And this H, so if carbon behaves as a reducing agent, then H2O is an oxidizing agent. So A and B are incorrect. And this reaction is endothermic because it has absorbed energy. So it's an endothermic reaction. So C is the right answer. Sodium hydroxide is added to a solution to alter its pH. A neutral solution is formed. Which statements is correct? So sodium hydroxide is an acid. No, it's a base. Sodium hydroxide will lower the pH of the solution. So sodium hydroxide is it's itself a base, and if it is added to a solution to alter its pH, then it would increase the pH of the solution to neutralize it as the neutral solution is formed. So it would increase the pH of the solution. The pH of the neutral solution is 14. No, it's 7. The pH of solution before sodium hydroxide is added is below 7. Yes, the pH of the solution was uh, below 7 and it was acidic. So acid plus base for a neutral solution, this makes sense. So D is the right answer. Sodium chloride is dissolved in distilled water. Universal indicator is added to a solution. What is the color of the universal indicator? So the first thing is that sodium chloride is itself neutral and its solution is also neutral. So neutral is the one. B is the right answer. All other are incorrect. So remember this one. B is the right answer. Which statement about ammonia is correct? It is a colorless gas. Yes. It's an odorless gas. No. It has a pungent smell. It is a gas that turns damp blue litmus paper red. No, it turns red into blue. So B is incorrect. It is formed when potassium nitrate is heated with aqueous sodium hydroxide and aluminium. So potassium nitrate plus NaOH in the presence of aluminium. So this will give us KOH along with the I'm not sure about C. It is manufactured using vanadium oxide as a catalyst. No, it is used by using ferrous as a catalyst. So for C, it is formed when potassium nitrate is heated with aqueous sodium hydroxide and aluminium. I do not exactly remember this reaction, but this is true. I know this is true. So C is the right answer because I have already eliminated all the other options. So C is the right answer. Which statements give reasons why ammonium sulfate can be used as a fertilizer? So it is NH4 taken twice into sulfite. So it contains nitrogen, yes, and phosphorus. No, it does not contain phosphorus. It contains nitrogen to promote plant growth and is soluble in water. We can check this later. So no, ammonium sulfate is not soluble in water. It contains sulfate ions which changes the pH of the soil. Yes, the sulfate ions change the pH of the soil and then they can play a role as a fertilizer. It contains sulfate ions and forms ammonia when lime is added to the soil. It contains sulfate ions and forms ammonia plus this to form ammonia when lime is added to the soil. No, this is incorrect. This is a wrong statement. So A is incorrect. Nitrogen is used to promote the plant growth, but ammonium sulfate is not soluble in water. So B is incorrect. So C is the only left option. Sulfate ions do change the pH of the soil, and that's one of the reasons why it is used as a fertilizer. So C is the right answer. Still, we can check the this again. So it contains nitrogen and phosphorus. So no, it does not contain phosphorus. It contains nitrogen to promote plant growth. Yes, and is soluble in water. And we know ammonium solubate is very soluble in water. So I think I had done this wrong. It contains sulfate ions which changes the pH of the soil, but I'm not sure about this. It contains sulfate ions and forms ammonia when no, I had already proven this wrong. So it contains nitrogen ions, nitrogen to promote the plant growth and is soluble in water. So B would be the most appropriate answer for me. So I would choose B here. I had done a mistake here. I had taken ammonium sulfate as insoluble, but it is water soluble, very soluble in water actually. So B is the right answer. Sorry for the mistake here. Sulfuric acid is manufactured by using the contact process. The equation for the reaction in the process are shown. So this is first reaction. This is the second. Reaction 1 is reversible. Yes, reaction 1 is exothermic. Is reaction 1 exothermic? So we can check this. The The it is energy enthalpy change is minus 198, so it is endothermic. In reaction to sulfur trioxide reacts with water to form sulfuric acid. So only 1 and 2 is correct. A is the right answer. Three statements about elements carbon, nitrogen, and sulfur are shown. They are in groups next to each other in periodic table. So we can check this here. Going down. Carbon, nitrogen, and sulfur. So they are in groups next in the periodic table. So the first statement is true here. Their neutrons to proton ratios are all 2 to 1. So if we check this, so neutron to proton, uh, carbon has 12 and 6, nitrogen has 14/7, and sulfur has 32/16. I can again confirm this by using the periodic table. Carbon 6, 12, nitrogen 7, 14, and sulfur 16, 32. So their neutron to proton ratio are all 2 to 1. No, their neutron to proton ratio is 1 to 1, not 2 to 1. Their atomic mass to atomic number ratio is 2 to 1, but not their neutron to proton ratio. Remember this. Some of you might do a mistake here, but remember this, that their neutron to proton ratio are all 1 to 1. 6 neutrons, 6 protons in carbon. So 2 is incorrect. They each form an acidic oxide. No, carbon forms an acidic. Yes, nitrogen and sulfur. Yes, they form an acidic oxide. So only 1 and 3 are correct, and C is the right answer. What is a property of halogens? Their atoms decrease in size down the group. No, their atoms increase in size down the group. Their melting points increase down the group. Yes, fluorine has a boiling point of I think -119, whereas iodine has something like 15 involved in it, but their melting points do increase in a group. I remember this. So B is true. They conduct electricity when molten. No. Uh, their silver salts are all soluble in water. No. AgCl like this is not soluble in water. So B is the right answer. Part of the periodic table shows the position of 4 elements. These are not elements actual symbols, so highlight this one. Which element has a high melting point and a variable oxidation state? So transition elements always have a variable oxidation state and do have a high melting point. So C is the right answer. Brass is made from copper and zinc. It has many uses. Brass is an alloy. Brass is an alloy. Brass is used in electrical plugs because it is an electrical conductor, not an insulator. So A is the right answer. Metal carbonates decompose when heated. Which carbonate is most stable to heat? Calcium carbonate. Yes, calcium carbonate is highly stable to heat. In a lime kiln of a cement factory, calcium carbonate is given a temperature of almost 950 degrees C. That is quite a high temperature, and that's when it is decomposed. So CaO plus CO2. So calcium carbonate is definitely, in my opinion, in my knowledge, the most stable to heat, and I would choose this as the right answer. So A is the right answer. Tin is a metal between iron and lead in the reactivity series. So this is iron, this is tin, suppose, and this is lead, and that's what he has said. So which method is best? Which method is used for the extraction of tin from its ore? So which method is commonly used for extraction of tin? Electrolysis of molten ore can be used. Heating alone cannot be used. Heating with aluminum powder, I'm not sure about this one, but heating with carbon is the best method for extraction of metals from iron to downwards in the reactivity series. Heating with carbon is the best option. So I would suggest that heat with carbon for extraction of tin from its ore. And checking from the key, yes, D is the right answer. Aluminium is extracted from Al2O3 by electrolysis. Which statement about this electrolysis is correct? Aluminium ions gain electron to form aluminium. Yeah. So at cathode, aluminium is deposited. It means that at cathode reduction takes place, and aluminium ions gain electrons to get themselves reduced and form aluminium. Yes, A is the right answer. Chirolite increases the melting point of the electrolyte. No, I'm not sure about this one. Chirolite reacts with impurities to form a slag. No, this is incorrect. The carbon cathode has to be anode has to be replaced, not the cathode. So A is the right answer. Methane and sulfur dioxide are two air pollutants found in the Earth's atmosphere. Which row correctly identifies one source of each gas? So one source of methane is decaying plants, not the lightning activity, and one source of sulfur dioxide is the volcanic eruptions, the volcanic gases, not the photochemical reactions. So B is the right answer. The water supply can be purified by the filtration and chlorination. Which substance remains in the water supply after these treatments? So fine sand would be filtered, chlorination would kill the harmful microbes, mineral salts would remain intact, solid organic matter would be filtered again. So C, mineral salts would remain in the water supply. C is the right answer. Which statements are true for the homologous series? Each series contains saturated compounds. No, this is not necessary in all cases. The compounds in each series are unreactive. No, they can be reactive. They can highly reactive as well. Each series has a general formula. Yes, this is true. Each series has a gradation in the physical property. Yes. So 3 and 4 are true. D is the right answer. Alkanes are saturated compounds containing carbon and hydrogen only. Structures 1, 2, 3, and 4 are saturated hydrocarbons. Uh, which pair of these structures are the isomers of each other? So what are the isomers? Isomers are the atoms, are the molecules having the same number of atoms in them but different structural arrangements. So that these are isomers, obviously. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1 is not an isomer of 4. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in 3 and 4. So 3 is also not an isomer of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 is an isomer of 2. 1 is an isomer of 2. So A, I mean 1 and 2 are isomers of each other. So this is hexane, and this is hexane as well. So now some of you might choose 3 and 2 as isomers, but they are not. Why they are not? Because 3 contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. 3 contains 12 hydrogen atoms, and 2 contains 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, 11, and 3. And 2 contains 4 hydrogen. So 2 and 3 are not isomers, and A is the right answer. When butene reacts with bromine, which compounds could be made. Now, if we try to solve this question, we take butene. Butene can be of two types. The carbon double bond is on one and this, and carbon, and carbon, and this can be like this. And if bromine is introduced to both of these, then we can either get uh, carbon bromine and hydrogen here, and carbon bromine like this, and other part of molecule will remain same, other part of molecule will remain same. So either it should be of this type, this one type, and other should be, it can be like carbon bromine, and carbon here and bromine here, and hydrogen, and or this can be of the this type. So among one and this one, and this two, we can see that one is present in the B option, but two is not present in any, in not in D, not in C, and not in A. So B is our right answer, because the bromine molecules would arrange themselves if the like this like this, like this, if the carbon carbon double bond is present on the ends. So B is the right answer. How many structural isomers with the formula C4H10O are alcohol? So it is butanol, and butanol contains four molecules. So I use this trick that if an alcohol has four carbons, then it should form four structural isomers. So C is the right answer here. And which statements about the alcohol CH3, CH2, CH2OH? So it is propanol are correct. So when propanol is oxidized, it forms propanoic acid. Yes, when an oxygen is added here, it forms propanoic acid. So one is correct. CH3, CH2, COH, CH2OH burns in air to form CO2 and water. Yes, CH3, CH2OH can be formed by addition reaction between ethene and steam. No, it can be formed by propene and steam, I guess, not between ethene and steam. So 1 and 2 are only correct. A is the right answer. Propanoic acid reacts with calcium carbonate. The products of this reaction are calcium propanoate, carbon dioxide, and water. What is the equation for this reaction? So the products of this reaction are calcium propanoate and carbon dioxide, and initially it is propanoic acid. So A and B are propanoic acid, whereas C and D are butanoic acid. And it reacts with calcium carbonate, and the products of this reaction are calcium propanoate. So calcium and two molecules of propanoate, and along with CO2 and water, not A, because the valencies are not matched here. So B is the right answer. An acid reacts with an alcohol to form an ester and water. What is the name of the ester formed in this reaction? So it is, I think, propanoic acid, and this is ethanol. So what is the name of the ester formed in this reaction? So it should be uh, ethyl ethyl propanoate. The molecule containing carbon attached to the double bond comes later. Comes later. This name comes later in the name. Remember this. So propanoate should come later. A and C are incorrect, where it is an ethyl group first. So B is the right answer. So a part of polymer chain is shown. Which monomer was used to produce this polymer? So if we check this, that let's just derive two units from here. So carbon carbon double bond here, and each carbon contains CH3 hydrogen, CH3 and hydrogen. So the monomer unit should contain a double bond first of all. So all these contain double bond. Now if we check A, uh, this double bond carbon contains hydrogen on one side but not CH3 methyl on the other. So A is incorrect. Similarly, is the case in B. It does contain hydrogen but does not contain the our methyl group. So B is incorrect. C is also incorrect. This contains CH3 here, so CH3 here, and this contains hydrogen. This double bond, this contains CH3 and then a hydrogen. So obviously D is the monomer unit of this. Last MCQ: which statement about the polymers is correct? Fats and nylons contain the COO linkage. Fats do not contain this linkage. Monomers used in condensation polymerization must contain CO2H and OH groups. No, this is not true for all cases. Polyethylene will decolorize bromine. No, it won't, because it does not contain double bond. Does not contain double bonds. Proteins with the COONH linkage are biodegradable as they can be hydrolyzed. Yes, proteins are hydrolyzable compounds, so D is incorrect. So now I'm gonna check MCQ, which I had some misconceptions or my mistakes in them. Yes, this 15. I was not sure about the values of X and Y here. Now, if we try to look this again, so first thing is this, that T1 is higher than T2. So so B and D are incorrect. Now, if we check the values of P and values of volume of P's coefficient and the volume of Q's coefficient in the initial. So in the initial, the volume of Q is 0, while in the ignition the volume of P is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The volume of P is Q. While when the volume Q starts to form, uh, the volume is 9. The volume of Q is 9. So 9 is greater than 6. Similarly is the case in T1, that at 0 the volume of Q is 0. Volume of Q is 0. The volume of P is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is 6, and P is 6. And when the gas volume Q start to form, the volume is P Q9. So it is again 9 to 6. So y is greater than Q. So A, yes, I had chosen the right option, and 9:6 is 3:2. So A is the right answer. So that's all for our today's video. Thank you, and I should ask that make sure to subscribe and like and comment below for any for queries, and that's all for this. Stay updated.